Hello, friends! It's been an interesting year on the water to say the least, but the chill of winter is knocking on the door and it's time to pack away the boat for the season. We were lucky enough to be gifted an unusually warm October day to take one final ride. Even if the implications of that worry me, today I'm just grateful for one last opportunity to spend some time on the Zinkawa with my wife before our son arrives this winter. Winsome mastered the art of backing a trailer down the launch suspiciously quickly. I've been doing this for 15 to 20 years at this point, and all it took her was one failed attempt. Some people get all the luck. The lake, usually bustling with life and excitement, sits still now, save for the last few boats waiting at the launch from this morning's fishing tournament. The engine softly hums as I wait for Winsome to return from parking the car. I take a moment to remember the feeling of the summer sun on my skin, the lazy days on the lake, sharing laughs, snacks, and memories, and the excitement of an entire boating season ahead of us. Even if I may not sound like it, I'm less sad this year than I normally am. We're just months away from welcoming our first child into the world, and that's been pulling all of my focus and excitement. Life can get so busy, and as I'm sure you're aware, television is so good now. Trips to the lake were a refuge from the constant noise and distraction. Just the two of us, a cup of coffee, and whatever was on our minds. While I enjoy watching and attending hockey games in the winter, go Rangers and Pioneers, nothing quite comes close to the calm and quiet I find sitting in the captain's chair.
Trying to get some footage for one last video. What am I going to do with all my free time when I'm not editing videos?
Watch the kid.
Yuck.
Just kidding. I'm obviously very much looking forward to that. I'm also really looking forward to figuring out who he's going to be. Will he enjoy boating? Will he help me outnumber Winsome so that we can go on faster rides? There's so many questions that I can't wait to get the answers to. I dropped Winsome off at the dock so I could go for one last high-speed ride. But she graciously agreed to drive the boat faster than she normally likes to so that I could capture this drone footage. We've been so busy this October with preparing for our family's addition, as well as traveling to attend 2 weddings, that it feels like a lifetime since I took a ride. I forgot how thrilling it could be to open this Glastron up to full speed. 50 miles an hour might seem slow to you, but it sure feels fast when you're in a small 16-foot boat all by yourself. Did you know that Glastron more or less doesn't exist anymore? It's true. The brand was acquired by another company that argues that first-time or budget boat owners would rather rent than buy. So Glastron is now focused on making rental boats for that company. While I'm sure there's some truth to that, it's still a pretty big bummer. The boating industry seems to be leaving behind us regular folks. Bass boats cost over $100K now, and pontoon boats aren't far behind. And outboards, while they may be getting more reliable, are becoming bigger and more expensive. And the death of iconic brands like Evinrude and Glastron sting a little. It just feels like the industry as a whole is focused solely on appeasing the highest spenders. Perhaps I'm just getting a little jaded in my old age. I'll have to do my best to make sure I don't pass that along to my son. I zipped past the boat launch, I could see that Winsome had already backed the trailer in, which meant it was time to close the book on the 2024 boating season. Pulling back the throttle one last time, the scream of the engine faded into a faint hum as I approached the trailer. As has become customary, it was yet another perfect job backing in the trailer by my wife Winsome. The only time in recent memory where she didn't do so good was really more my fault. We'd launched the boat, and I forgot to put the plug in. I know. I've never done it before, and I'll never do it again. But I had to race the boat back to the dock, and she had to race back to the car and back in the trailer while I tried my best to make sure the boat didn't sink. She eventually got it in, but in her panic, it took longer than normal. It's always very funny to me to see the faces of other folks at the ramp when they see a beat-up old Subaru Outback squeaking down the ramp from the windows of their massive expensive trucks. It gets even funnier when out pops my very pregnant wife.
Well, it's unfortunately that time of year. It's time to winterize the boat. We've had a lot of problems lately with neighbors parking on the street and blocking our driveway. So right now the boat's over at my parents', so that won't be an issue. But I gotta drive over there first. I'm always so conflicted about this. I do have a lot of fun servicing the Mercury, but it also means that the year's over. It's done.
When we're done winterizing it, it's time for something even sadder. It's time to put it into storage. 6 long months of no boating. Boats are kind of a silly thing to own in New York State, where half the year it's a frozen tundra. Every year I wonder why I still live here. But then I'm reminded that while the weather sucks, it's not actively trying to kill you like it is in a lot of other places. So it's not the best, but it could be worse.
It's sure hard to feel sad about this drive when New York looks so pretty this time of year. I arrived at my parents' house, anxious to begin servicing the outboard. I was also going to teach my dad about the process. I won't bore you all with the full breakdown of winterizing the Mercury, but if you're interested, I do have a whole video discussing this topic, which you can watch here. I did just want to add that I found trimming the engine up slightly makes the spark plugs easier to see and thus remove. One last task before departing, swapping out my good boat cover for the more beat up one that I use for storage. That way I won't be quite as sad if it gets stolen. I just know that my wife is going to mercilessly dunk on me when I mention that I had to convince myself more than once that this was not a funerary procession, that I am merely a full-grown adult man who is about to be a father towing his boat to be put away for the winter. It's probably a good thing now that most of the packages that are getting delivered to our door are products for our son and not boat parts. At the very least, Winsome is happy about that. If you think boats and their various parts and accessories take up a lot of space, you should try having a child. I feel like boats still cost more though. Even if its purpose is somber, I'm trying my best to enjoy this ride. In a matter of weeks, all of the color from the entire state will be gone, and it will look like the interior of every single millennial's home. Nothing but gray. Now safely tucked away in its home for the next 6 months, I have time to reflect on all the memories that I made this year. From the chilly and damp Labor Day trip to my old childhood stomping ground in the Adirondacks, getting lost in the aisles of Old Forge hardware, boating through the channels, and doing our best to enjoy the day despite the less than ideal weather. There will always be something uniquely special to me about that particular region of the Adirondack Mountains, and I'll always love them.
Do you like the matching jackets?
Also, how could I forget? Learning all about how canal locks work while cruising along the Erie Canal with my family.
You say I've only put the boats away though.
And even our trip to Alexandria Bay, where I still kick myself for not recording more footage for its own video. I'll daydream about that boathouse until the day I die. And of course, every single ride on what has become our home base, Canandaigua Lake. From my family to yours, thanks from the bottom of my heart for watching this season. I'll be back again soon, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.